I've got 6 minutes to make Christmas meaningful, so here we go. I don't know about you. I'll speak for myself. Some of us are taking off time from work that we haven't accrued to buy gifts with money we don't have for people we don't necessarily like to celebrate a holiday that we don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about. But, and this may spoil it for some of you, Christmas has really caught on. It seems like it's a big deal. It's all around the world now. So it might be worth giving a few minutes to consider. And I want to ask this question: what child is this? And I said this, actually, I was looking back through notes. I said this 7 years ago at the first ever Candlelight. And I think it's as true now as it was then, that as great a song as that is, it's an even better question. What child is this? And not that we have time to draw connections or critiques between who this kid is and the ways we've chosen culturally to celebrate that, because it almost feels like, I don't know about Jesus, but Christmas is for sure the birth of the God of consumerism, or at least it's the time of year we celebrate it. We don't have time to get into all that, though it's worth exploring. But what child is this? The song answers emphatically this. This is Christ the King, which even if you've seen the Charlie Brown Christmas special, which should tell us everything we need to know about Christmas, it actually leaves some more questions, like what is a Christ? The king of what? So we get answers, but really we get sort of another layer of questions. Luke's gospel would answer this: Savior, Messiah, Lord. This is who the child is. But again, more questions. Savior of what? What's a Messiah? Lord of what? Lord of Mordor? Lord of Winterfell? Lord of Lollybrock? Okay, there's a few of us here. The point is, what we find, if we really stop and think about it, is that the juice in the Christmas story isn't just in the proclamation. There's a lot of that going on, but not so much in what we're told as what we're left to wonder. Part of what captivates us about Christmas are the questions that are raised, and then they're just left to hang. And we get to live with them all year. And I think this is where hope comes from. It's not from certainty or facts or data, but it actually comes from desire. It comes from wonder. It comes from mystery. And I think Christmas moves us, regardless of any background we have in religion or faith or spirituality, because for a season, and for some of us, maybe it's only for a week or a day, or maybe it's only for tonight. Maybe this is it for you. But we actually warm to the hope that a better world is possible. A world of goodness and of giving, of overcoming differences. Can we believe that in the world we live in? Of helping our neighbors, of various expressions of love and kindness, and this hope that there might be light where there was darkness. What child is this? These words, Christ and Messiah, are loaded words. They've got a deep tradition and a history long before Jesus was born. They're ancient ways of saying the anointed one, which really means unique, or it means one of a kind. So they invoke this hope that the child will show the world what God is like in a way that had never been seen or known before. That this child will grow to reveal a way of life that's vital and full and beautiful and good, and will invite all people, that's worth repeating, will invite all people into this good life. They're hopeful words. These are exciting words. But again, they leave us with just as many questions as answers. What is God like? Is it Monty Python, dude in the clouds with a beard? Is it Morgan Freeman? Is it Oprah? Is it the Force from Star Wars? Is it the magic from Harry Potter? And what if we don't believe in fairy tales? What is God like? And at Christmas, we're reminded that whatever our understanding of God, and we've got as many opinions about what God or who God is in this room as there are people in the room, whatever that understanding, we had better figure out the way to this peace on earth that's promised at Christmas. How can we become involved in this movement of love and justice started by this child? What child is that? The words Savior, Lord, and King, these are similarly loaded words with plenty of history, especially in the first century when Jesus is born, because there was already a Savior and Lord. His name was Caesar Augustus. He ruled by violence, greed, and terror, and he was hungry when he got finished with that, so he invented a fabulous dressing. Zesty, very zesty. There were already stories of a divine birth. It was said that Caesar Augustus was, and I quote, the Son of God. And maybe this sounds familiar. It was said about the birth of Caesar that there was a star in the sky that marked his arrival and inaugurated the 12 days of Advent. This was about Caesar, okay, not Jesus. And there was already a king. His name was Herod, and he was called the King of the Jews. He's thought to be the richest person who ever lived, and he was an oppressive tyrant. He gained his wealth by the economic exploitation of the masses. The point is, when Luke says this child is Savior, Lord, and King, he's not trying to cast roles in a Christmas pageant where the toddler who's playing Joseph inevitably picks his nose and feeds it to the donkey, which is actually his little brother. Luke is not aiming for cute nostalgia. And we can't help ourselves but hear the Christmas stories like this. Luke isn't aiming for cute nostalgia. He's actually writing subversive propaganda. He's not primarily giving us easy Christmas answers. He's risking his life to incite dangerous Christmas questions. Which way will people choose? Which way will we choose? Which way will I choose? In which way is God born in the world and born in us? Is it the way of Caesar, or is it the way of Jesus? Is it the way of Herod, or the way of Jesus? Is it violence or peace? Is it greed or generosity? Is it exploitation or justice? Is it the love of power, or is it the power of love? In whose way is there a future for humanity? In whose way is peace on earth? Christmas gives birth not only to a baby, but to some really nagging questions. I would argue more relevant to our world today than they've ever been. What child is this? This is Jesus. This is a one-of-a-kind expression of God, called by the name Savior, King, Lord. And if we're honest, we should follow that up by asking, what does that mean? So what? What does that mean? What does it mean for the lives we live? What does it mean as Christmas invites us again to be light in the darkness, to bring hope to the hopeless and peace to the restless? At the very least, it has to mean that these questions are worth asking. They're worth wrestling with. Like Christmas, faith doesn't give us all the answers. Instead, it points us towards life's most important questions about how we love, about how we live with our friends and our families, and how we treat our neighbors. Questions about our influence in the world, about the significance of our work, and the significance of the ways that we play, about the mystery that everybody matters, everyone is loved by God, and so deserves our love. Christmas isn't just a statement about a child being born 2,000 years ago. It's about the questions we're asking ourselves and what is born in us when we ask. If you don't have a safe place to ask, if you don't have a safe place to doubt, to trust your heart because you didn't have to check your mind at the door, we would love for you to find that place with us at Collective. As you've heard, our hope, and we don't always live up to this, I'll be honest, we don't, but our hope is that this is an open and affirming place, that it's an innovative congregation. It's here in DeLand, which is important to us. We would love for it to be a spiritual community, a church, a safe place to explore and be on a journey with some amazing people. And so I hope that we can be blessed by the gifts of Christmas, but more so I hope we can be haunted by the questions that it raises.